Many assume their familiar routines will be accepted everywhere they go, but this is not always the case. Did you know that everyday American habits can seem surprisingly direct, even impolite, to people in the United Kingdom? For example, an American inviting a new friend inside might naturally offer a tour of every room, wanting to be hospitable. In a quiet English town, the same routine would feel uncomfortable, even intrusive, yet the request is met with hesitant looks and silence. What's considered friendly in one country is sometimes misread elsewhere. Today, this video explores 7 familiar American habits that British people often find rude. Each reveals how values shape everyday life when crossing cultures. But before we continue, make sure to subscribe. Number 7. House tours versus respecting privacy. In the United States, opening your home to guests and showing them around is considered polite, even standard. When neighbors or friends stop by in Minnesota or Texas, there is often an unspoken expectation of walking them through the kitchen, the living room, even showing family photos or home improvements. This practice grew during the 20th century as suburban living took hold, with homes becoming places of both pride and social interaction. In contrast, the UK has long regarded the private home as a sanctuary, not generally open for display. With smaller living spaces and deep-rooted ideas about boundaries, British hosts usually invite guests into carefully chosen rooms, keeping the rest off-limits. Social life often shifts to public places, such as pubs or parks, where privacy is protected even in a crowd. This is not a matter of coldness, but of historical norms about personal space. Many Americans are caught off guard by this reaction, as the British view house tours as overly personal or even boastful. This simple difference in habit reveals how the idea of hospitality changes across cultures. Number 6. Fast restaurant checks versus leisurely dining. In many American restaurants, meals are served quickly, and servers often bring the check before a guest asks for it, even if the food is not finished. This comes from decades of business practices designed to turn tables efficiently, especially in busy diners in New York or family-friendly eateries in California. Tipping systems reward attentive and prompt service, so speed is often seen as courtesy. By comparison, British dining culture places strong value on relaxation and unhurried conversation at the table. Restaurants in London or Birmingham rarely hand over the bill before it is requested, instead allowing guests to finish their meal and talk at their own pace. In the UK, an early check is easily read as an attempt to rush someone out the door, which can feel disrespectful. The two countries prize different aspects of hospitality. Americans see efficiency as a sign of care, while Britons expect time and privacy. Understanding these underlying approaches can save a person from misunderstandings on both sides of the Atlantic. Number 5. Casual cutlery versus formal table signals. At an American dinner table, people put down their fork and knife wherever they land after a meal, sometimes loosely crossed or separated, with little attention paid to position. This habit is common from Ohio diners to family kitchens in Florida and has roots in the country's informal, practical dining traditions. There are no strict rules signaling the end of a meal. In contrast, British etiquette demands that utensils be placed together and neatly on the plate to indicate a person is finished eating. This code has been passed down through generations and remains a visible part of daily life, both at home and in restaurants. A guest who leaves cutlery scattered is seen as inattentive or even disrespectful of the host or waitstaff. Americans generally do not intend any insult, but the expectation simply does not exist in most American circles. Differences in how the end of a meal is signaled show the wider gap in formality and ritual between the two cultures. Number 4. Loud speech versus quiet conversation. American voices are often louder in public spaces, shaped by years of being encouraged to speak up in schools, homes, and workplaces. Before smartphone texting and open-plan offices, clear, strong speech was essential for getting attention among large families or crowded rooms. Enter any diner in Dallas or sports bar in Chicago, and the volume can be striking. By contrast, British society emphasizes restraint in tone, particularly in settings like trains, shops, or restaurants. Speaking loudly in public is often frowned upon, as it is seen as breaching the shared space and encroaching on others' ability to enjoy quiet. In underground carriages or quiet cafes in London, Americans stand out simply because they are used to projecting their voices. The intention is not to disturb, but the ingrained habit leaves a lasting impression. This contrast calls attention to deeply different expectations about public life. Number 3. Direct requests versus polite formality. In the United States, directness is praised, and getting straight to the point is commonplace. Asking an employee, "Where's the flour?" in a grocery store is seen as efficient and respectful of time. This habit comes from both the country's history of business-focused interactions and a culture that prizes openness. Across the UK, requests are generally softened with indirect language and ritual phrases such as, "Excuse me, could you please tell me where the flower is?" or "Sorry to bother you." Such routines are learned early and remain important into adulthood, reflecting historical expectations of deference and politeness. Skipping these pleasantries in Britain can seem abrupt or inconsiderate. The norms around communication run in opposite directions. Americans often believe clarity is kind, while Britons see the added formality as essential respect. Number 2. Openness about religion versus private belief. In many parts of the United States, it is common to ask about religious background or openly discuss faith. People inquire about church attendance or denominational affiliation, especially in the South and Midwest, and the topic serves as a routine way to connect. For generations, strong religious identity shaped not only social ties but local politics and everyday talk, especially in rural and suburban areas. British culture, shaped by centuries of state religion followed by rising secularism, has largely moved these conversations behind closed doors. Discussing faith is considered a private matter, reserved only for close friends or family. Most social occasions avoid it altogether. Bringing up religion in casual conversation can lead to discomfort or silence in the UK. Americans following habits learned at home often find this boundary unexpected, but the contrast is clear. What is seen as friendliness and openness in one culture can be misread as intrusion in the other. Number 1. Assertive cueing versus orderly patience. The way people line up reveals a deep divide in cultural assumptions and exposes a contradiction at the heart of American values. The UK treats queuing almost as a sacred ritual, whether in busy London underground stations or small-town supermarkets. People wait patiently, often letting others go first in an instinctive show of respect. Any attempts to move ahead are seen as presumptuous and invite disapproval. In the United States, the picture is more complicated. On one hand, fairness and taking turns are taught from the first years of school, especially in the post-war decades when institutions aim to shape orderly citizens. On the other hand, assertiveness is rewarded, and moving quickly when a seat opens up or a sale starts is often encouraged. Growing up, Americans were praised for seizing opportunities, which sometimes means breaking away from strict order in public lines. The same person who expects fairness in a pharmacy queue may push ahead to grab the last hot dog at a family barbecue. This double standard highlights an internal tension. Americans value both order and boldness, but context changes which is put first. Across the Atlantic, the British consistency in queuing is as much about social agreement as it is about politeness. Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this.